Welcome to episode 26 of Tales of Yarnia. My name is Hannah. I'm coming to you from Cheltenham in the UK, which is where I live with my other half Jimmy and our yellow Labrador Jonah. Welcome to all my returning viewers. It's really lovely to see you here again. And welcome also, big welcome to any new viewers who've decided to give my podcast a try. I really hope you enjoy it and hope you come back for more. I feel a little out of practice because I think the last time I podcast was probably close to a month ago. I did start doing a little bit of Vlogmas, but after about a week, I sort of realised it was way too much. It was mostly the editing that just took up so much time, and I just couldn't keep up with it all. I just found that I was getting way too stressed, thinking that I needed to take time out of my day to edit the podcast edit the Vlogmas episodes, and it was just becoming way too much, as well as all of the other things I had planned for the lead up to Christmas, and making sure everything was organised and working. It was just way too much, so I'm pleased I at least gave it a go and managed to do some videos. I think in future years I'd probably try and do it on a more ad hoc basis, but I did find it was really addictive. So I kept wanting to do more frequent episodes, and I had so many ideas for things. But I think I enjoyed what I did, and I'm glad I stopped and didn't try and carry on and stress myself out too much. So, yeah. Sorry, Jonah's distracting me. Jonah, what are you doing? Jonah! No. Don't do that. Thank you. If you are new to the podcast, Jonah is normally a big distraction for everyone. Jonah, stop it. He's found something to eat, so bear with me. Okay, so social media-wise, you can find me as Yarnia Designs on Instagram and Ravelry, and you can also find my knitting patterns on Ravelry under Yarnia Designs. I will include links to all of that just in the down bar below, and everything else I talk about as well. I will try and include a link for everything. So, I've got quite a lot to get through today, so I'm not sure how long this episode is going to end up being, but I've got some tea. It's a festive tea from T2. I think it's called Winter Wonderland, possibly, but I'm enjoying that today because today is New Year's Eve, so I'm having a bit of a relaxed day and just wanted to get a podcast done before I have to go back to work on the 2nd. So I've had quite a few days off. I was working on Christmas Day and Boxing Day, but it wasn't too bad because everyone at work is sort of in the same boat and has everyone sort of feels all festive and wearing Christmas jumpers, and we were all brought in food for a big buffet, so that was really nice. So it felt like we were all in it together. And then we came home and sort of had a little bit of a Christmas evening on Christmas Day. And then I've been off since the 27th. So I've got 6 days off in a row, and I'm just coming to the end of that now. So I've got to go back to work on the 2nd. But that is life. So anyway, on to some knitting content. I've got quite a few FOs, but I've only got 2 of them with me because a couple of them were gift knits. So I will start with what I think is the most exciting one. And this was a whip last time I spoke to you. And it is my new shawl design. I don't know if it'll all fit on camera. Oh my gosh. It is huge. This is the Midwinter Mist shawl, and it is a fingering weight yarn held together with mohair. You have 3 different colours of fingering weight yarn, so I sort of created a fade. I fancied quite a simple, mindless project, but I was really obsessed with the mohair. Really wanted to try some mohair. I don't know if you can see, hang on, just how fluffy it is. How much of a halo it's got. It is beautiful and so soft. So, see if I can remember all of the yarns I've used. Oh yeah, this pattern is currently in testing with my test knitters. So I'm hoping towards the end of January the pattern will be available. It doesn't use a full skein of each colour, so I think it's quite good for using up like part skeins that you've got left over. I think the first colour only used about 20 to 30 grams, so you could always use leftover yarn from after you've knit a pair of socks for that. And I think I'm going to probably use the leftovers from this to knit a pair of socks at some point. But yeah, the first yarn was the Wool Barn, and I think the colourway was Beachcomber. Yeah. Ooh. And then the second colour that I used, I think I did run through some of these last time, but just in case. The second colourway I've used is Stranded Dye Works, and it's in, what's the colourway name? But it might be First Frost, or it might be, oh, what was it? Something to do with ice. It was a sock blank I had anyway. Unfortunately, she doesn't do sock blanks anymore, but I think she still does this colourway. If I find the name, I will write it on the screen, because I should have prepared that better. And the third colourway, which it then fades into, is Fine Fish Yarns, and that is the Grimoire colourway. So, and the mohair I used was just Drops Kid Silk. It was like a light blue colour. I can't remember if I think I might have gone through that last time and showed the label. It was very light blue. So I really enjoyed knitting this, and you can see right at the bottom. So it's just a basic triangular shaped shawl with loads of garter stitch, because I love incorporating garter stitch into designs because it's just so relaxing to knit, and just a simple lace pattern which gets repeated with each colourway. So I'm so excited to see all of my test knitters' shawls knit up, because I think every single person is doing a different colour. I think someone's doing greens, someone's definitely doing some purples and pinks. So it's really, really exciting to see how this is going to work up in all sorts of different colours and fades. I think half the fun is finding the fade as well. Yeah, absolutely. I'm really, really pleased with how it turned out. I'll just try it on. I haven't woven in the ends yet because I'm lazy. And I finish a project and then I'm so excited, feel so proud that I finished it. I feel I should be able to celebrate by casting something else on straight away instead of weaving in the ends. So let's try and show you a bit there. So it's really big and cosy, and it feels, because of the holding the mohair together with the fingering weight yarn, it feels closer to a DK, and it is so warm and fluffy, and it's just perfect for this weather, even though it's only using fingering weight yarn. It just makes it so fluffy and cosy. So if I keep it on right now, I'll get way too warm. So that's the first finished object. The second finished object that I've got to show you is a pair of socks which I knit for Jimmy, and you'll have seen these before. They took me quite a while. They don't fit on these sock blockers at all. That's where the sock blocker ends, and that's how much further his foot goes on. But it's just easier to show the heel and on there. So I used West Yorkshire spinners in the Bullfinch colourway. I have got 2 socks here. He has worn them already, so he is really pleased with them. I gave them to him for Christmas, and I just did a basic afterthought heel where you cut into the yarn where you want to put the heel in, and the contrast colour is also West Yorkshire spinners, just in their plain black colourway. So yeah, I was really pleased with those, and I quite like the pattern, the way it, the way the yarn just knits up in a vanilla sock. I thought that was quite fun. So yeah, keeps it interesting with stripes. I'm just going to take that off the sock block because I think I've got a sock to show you in a little bit. I did also have 2 other finished objects to show you, but I'm just going to have to insert pictures because they've been given to the recipients. I did do quite a bit of gift knitting this year, and I didn't really plan on doing that before the festive season started, but I did actually get quite a bit done. So the Woodland Wanderer socks that I was knitting in Eden Cottage yarns, I'll try and insert a picture somewhere to one side. They were finished and I gifted them to my mum. So I couldn't say that before on the podcast because she does watch the podcast. But they actually fit. I didn't measure her feet or anything because I didn't want her to know that they were going to be for her. So I just sort of guessed. I know she has smaller feet than me, so I just did them a bit shorter and kept the width pretty much the same as I would for myself. So yeah, she said they fit perfectly, so that was pretty lucky. And yeah, I was really pleased with the result. The yarn was gorgeous to work with, and I really enjoyed knitting the pattern again. It was quite fun. So yeah, Mum loves them as well, so that's the main thing. So Jonah, what are you doing? Out of there. Lie down. I know it's boring when I podcast. I know you want to be involved. Good boy. So yeah, so that was another finished object, and the last finished object was a hat, and I knit the How Quiet hat out, which is by Helen Stewart, and it was one of the patterns included in her knit bent for 2018, and it's just a really simple pattern, really quick to work up. I'll insert a picture of that over here as well. The yarn I used for it was Stranded Dye Works on the DK base in the Naughty List colourway, which I think was her Christmas colourway for this year. And my friend Lydia, who is Purple Moose, Jonah, shush, who's Purple Moose on Instagram, kindly sent me her leftovers of that. So I was able to knit a hat for my friend's daughter, who is, how old is she? I think she's about 18 or 19 months old now, so yeah, it was enough for a hat. So I really enjoyed doing that, and I put a bright red pom-pom on top as well, which you should be able to see in the picture. So yeah, that was the last FO, which I don't have to show you. But yeah, that fit her as well, I think, with a little bit of growing room, so that's good. So that's FOs. I've now got 5 whips to show you and a big pile of acquisitions. So I'll get started. We'll get through this. The first whip that I want to show you is living in my Mrs. Brown's bag, which is full of minis, and it is the Dust of Snow Shawl, wrap living in here. And this is patterned by Helen Stewart from this year's Knit Vent. And I decided to use all of my minis from my Dandelion and Dogwood advent calendar to knit this. So just get out what I've done so far. I'm really, really loving the process of knitting this. Oh, I'm getting tangled. How has that happened? Oh, there. And I'm just over halfway through the entire thing. So this is what I've done so far. And it's already too long to fit on the camera, so by the time this is finished, I don't know how I'm going to fit this on. I'll just have to show you one part at a time, I think. Oh gosh, but I love the way it's knitting up. I'll show you a little bit closer. I cannot remember all of the names of the colourways. I have kept all of the labels, so I'll have to piece it together at some point. So I remember the first one was called Popcorn and Cranberries, and I really loved that. And I'm not sure if the second one was called Honey Your Home or something. I can't remember. I love how it sort of fades. I'm a bit obsessed with fades at the moment. Oh, and the red, I think that was called something to do with red nail polish. Bad girls always wear red nail polish or something. I can't remember. I'm terrible. Can't remember the names of any of the others. Oops. But I'm really, really enjoying it. We're now getting onto the blues and greens, which I really love. I'll try and show you. Without dipping it in my tea, might be good. So yeah, the colourway, I think I'm currently on colour 13, which I've just faded in, which is this gorgeous minty green. And all of the yarns in my advent calendar are sparkly as well, which makes me so happy. And then I'm just using Drops Kid Silk in the, I think it's just the off-white colour, but I like how that's working up, because I didn't know what colours I was going to be opening in my advent calendar. And to be honest, I don't think I expected to even get this far within the first month. So I was planning on having it as just a nice relaxing knit for next year, aiming for it to be finished by next year's Advent, start of Advent. But I've already done half of it, so I just found that it was so addictive to knit, and I just keep wanting to get to the next colour and then the next colour, and it's just so fun. So I just love it. Isn't it pretty? Oh, and can you see the... Oh! Can you see the mohair? That fuzz. Look at it. So pretty. Anyway, I'm not going to get out all of the minis to show you now, but you'll see them as they get added into the wrap. But this bag is full. And I have found that I'm only using about 12-13 grams of each colour. So I am going to have quite a few leftovers. And that sort of leads into my next project. So that was whip number 1. Whip number 2. I'm just going to have a sip of tea first. Whip number 2 is living in this pretty festive bag it's from Buttoned Up and Pinned Down, and it's just got these really cute festive llamas, and this was a gift from my friend Lydia, who is Purple Moose on Instagram, and I love it. So my Christmas sort of festive socks have been living in here. And the yarn I'm using, the main colourway, is of course Mr. B's yarns, which is in the I'm the Gingerbread Man colourway. And it's one of their festive colourways. And I absolutely love the way this knits up. I saw my friend Kate was knitting this. She is now called What Kate Knit on Instagram, and she's actually recently started a podcast, well, she did Vlogmas, which was really, really fun. So you should definitely go check her out on YouTube. I'll include a link to her in the down bar. But yeah, she was knitting these when I met up with her when we went to Bath at the end of November it was. Went to Bath and met up with Becky and Claire of the Bird Box podcast. Claire is also one of the dyers behind Mr. B's Yarn, and Becky has started designing knitwear. She's got the Snow Day cowl on Ravelry, which I knit, and I actually gave that as a present to Jimmy's sister for Christmas, and she absolutely loved it. So it was a really, really good gift knit, that one, because you don't have to sort of do any sizing or anything. It should just fit anyone. So yes, and then Kate, who is What Kate Knit, I think that's what she's called on YouTube and on Instagram. So, but yeah, I'll include a link to her podcast and the Bird Box podcast on there. But yeah, I saw her knitting these, and I'd already got the yarn because I think I was just obsessed with the colourway anyway. How it looked in the skein was just gorgeous. So anyway, this is what I've done so far. I'll put it on the sock blocker because it's easier to see the heel then. Amongst yourselves. Here we go. So this is my first sock, and so yeah, main colour is the Mr. B's yarn in I'm the Gingerbread Man, and I've decided to use 4 different colours from my leftovers of my advent calendar by Dandelion and Dogwood for the heels and toes on each sock. So on the first sock I've used these 2. I think this one was popcorn and cranberries. That was the first colour that I opened, and I've forgotten the name of this one. Can't remember. I will have to find it at some point. But yeah, I thought I was trying to pick out the colours that sort of matched what was in the main skein, and then I'm just about to start increases for the heel on the second sock. So this is probably the quickest pair of socks I've ever knit, because I started them just over a week ago, and I've never been the kind of person that knits a pair of socks in like a day or a couple of days. Normally it takes me a couple of weeks, because normally I get a bit bored, and because you're knitting on such small needles, I like to take a break and knit on some other things as well. But yeah, so the other colours I'm going to use for heels and toes, I was thinking of these 2 colours. So I think this is the one that was to do with red nail polish. And I can't remember the name of this one, but I absolutely love it. So I thought these might go nicely on the next sock, because it sort of incorporates that deep pinky red, and there is also a little bit of turquoise in here, if you can see. Ooh. And of course, hey, it keeps turning around. Oh, it's because it's upside down. Of course, I've got my little gingerbread man progress keeper on here, because how could I not? And this is from Jiggles and Beans, and she does absolutely gorgeous progress keepers made out of polymer clay. So I'm still absolutely loving this project. So yeah, I'm going to have these 2 as heels and toes. Oh, I did want to say, the heel I'm doing on this, I'm actually knitting them cuff down, which is pretty unusual for me, but I just fancied a change. And I'm using the New Depths heel, which is a heel pattern by Becky Sorensen. I think it's included in all of her sock patterns, but you can also buy it separately on her Ravelry page. And I think I knit her Volca socks before, and I really loved the fit of the heel on that for knitting cuff down, because I hate doing a heel flap and gusset knitting cuff down, which I think is why I mostly knit my socks toe up, because I love the fit of a heel flap and gusset, but I hate having to pick up stitches when I knit cuff down. Yeah, so I really like the fit of this heel. It's meant, I think, for people who've got quite a large instep, but she does 3 different sizes of the heel as well, so you can, if you've got really high instep. I think I've knit the smallest one. I think next time I'd probably knit the middle one, the second size. So, but it's all about trial and error, isn't it? So it still fits me way better than it would with an afterthought heel. I vowed I will never do one of those again. So I think the next time I do self-striping socks, I'm going to use the New Depths heel, just because I can then continue the striped pattern and switch to a contrast colour for the heel, and then continue the striped pattern on, hopefully. So, yeah, really pleased with how those are working up, and it's just so fun to knit. And did I mention they're sparkly? This might be my New Year's Eve knitting. I'll definitely be knitting on them when I'm editing the podcast. So I'll try and fit the sock blocker into the bag then, which is not a good idea because that would not fit. Anyway, hopefully by next time I podcast, these will be finished. Yay! Second whip. Right. Third whip is living in my homespun house bag with llamas on. Got a bit of a llama theme here. And look. This living in here is my Suarez Sweater. And I've made quite a bit of progress on this since I last saw you. I am currently in the middle of a row because I'm an incompetent podcaster and did not think about this beforehand, but it doesn't really matter. At the moment, I'm up to the point where you just work on the back of the sweater. So I've knit around and around until I split for the sleeves, and now I'm just working on the back. So this is where I'm at. Should be able to let's not lose any stitches, please. There we go. So that's how much I've done so far. I think where that progress keeper is where I was up to last time. So it is a cropped sweater. The pattern is in Pom Pom Quarterly. I think it was their 5-year anniversary edition? Not episode. Issue. I've forgotten which number that was, but it was the 5-year anniversary one. And the pattern was written by Emily Foden. I do know that much. So I did include, I added one repeat of the cable pattern further than the pattern calls for, just because I didn't want it quite as cropped as it shows in the design photos. Excuse me. And at the moment, this has rolled up quite a lot, so it's actually hopefully going to be a little bit longer than it looks at the moment. And after blocking, you know, all manner of things can change. So yeah, I'm really, really loving it. I love the colour. It's quite a bright green, and I love the feel of the yarn as well. Excuse me. The yarn is some yarn I got in New Zealand when we went round this time last year. Just over a year ago we went, and it is Touch Yarns, and it's a possum merino. Is it a possum and merino blend? I think it is. Might be possum silk and merino, I'm not too sure. But I love it. It's got like a really good stitch definition, but it's also really floofy. I really, really love it. You need an up close look at this. I just love the way it's working up. And it just feels so cozy and fluffy and warm. So this has been the thing I've probably put the most time into recently. And yeah, really, really enjoying it. I have talked about it before, so I won't bore you too much. I'm going to put it away and we'll move on to the next whip, because we are just over halfway through the whips now. Okay, so just rearrange things a little bit. All these things down here. Okay. Just have another sip of tea because it's probably gone cold now. Almost gone cold. Not quite. Okay. So, next whip. This one's quite exciting actually. This is living in my Elden Woodcraft Woodland themed bag. And living in here, there is always a project in this bag, just because I love it so much. So I probably do show it on every single podcast episode. Right, I'm just going to get the yarn out of here. Got an extra needle in there. And the label for it as well. So, when I went to a yarn story with Becky, Claire and Kate, I had a look around. I was looking for some yarn which was sort of worsted, DK or worsted weight, to knit a hat for Jimmy, and he wanted for definite a forest green colour. So the lovely Carmen, who owns the store, I was looking at the Walcott yarns, which is her own yarn brand, and I picked out this Opus yarn, which is actually a sport weight, but held double, it makes it a worsted weight. And she showed me a sample of a hat which had already been knit out of Opus, held double, and it was so squishy and soft. The yarn is 70% Falkland Merino and 30% baby alpaca. And I've gone for the colourway Ivy, which is here. And it is a gorgeous forest green. I absolutely love it. And it's so soft, but also feels very woolly. Sorry if that just jogged the camera. Jonah's just wandering around underneath the table. If I show you where I'm up to. So, it's actually a hat for Jimmy, but I'm designing it myself. So I'm going to be releasing probably 2 different sizes for this. I'm knitting up the biggest size, but then I'll probably do a smaller size as well, which would probably more fit my head. So there's a bit more flexibility with some sizing on this one. But yeah, you can only sort of see the start of the pattern, but it's going to have little twisted stitches and mini cables running up the hat, and the brim is so long because he wanted one that folded over to make it doubly extra thick and cozy. So that's actually where we're up to. But I am actually loving how it's knitting up with this yarn. It's going to be, I think, hopefully the perfect combination with the pattern, and it's going to make the coziest hat. I'm going to have to go back and buy more to make one for myself, I think. Oh, I love it. Oh, it's beautiful. I just love this yarn. And it's sort of like got a bit of a hairy quality to it with the alpaca, I think, which makes it so soft but still so woolly. Yeah, I could just go on all day about this yarn, I really could. And living on here is my little Progress Keeper, which came in my Dandelion and Dogwood advent calendar. And actually, this came, oh, where is it? It came with that little mini, and I think I might remember the name of it now. It was something to do with peppermint cappuccino or mocha or something. Where is it? Oh, it's still out. It came with this yarn, that little progress keeper. I'm pretty sure I opened it with that one, and it was something to do with some sort of peppermint themed drink. Definitely. Anyway, bit of a tangent. I'm loving this hat, and I'm not really rushing too much with it. I'm trying not to put too much pressure on myself with designing, just because I want it to still be enjoyable and fun, and I don't want it to be like work. It's more of an escape from work for me, designing. So, yeah. Right, I'm going to pop this away, but I really need to work on this again because I love working with the yarn. I'm going to have to get more. Yeah. It smells so sheepy as well, in a really good way. Pop the tag back, and that's another whip. Right. My last whip is a baby whip, as in it's a very small whip, still in its infancy, and it's living in this new acquisition, which is actually a present I got from my mum for Christmas, and it's this gorgeous project bag. Let me just open it up actually, make it a little bit easier for you to see the fabric. Is project bag is from My Cottage Number 9, who I've been following on Instagram. Here's the little tag, and I had seen this project bag on Instagram, and I remember I had liked it, and my mum had actually looked at the same bag and got one for me, and it's got these gingerbread houses and this snowman. It's just a gorgeous wintry woodland scene, and then it's got a little sleigh and some robins. Oh, it's just so gorgeous. I absolutely love it, and it's so well made and well interfaced as well. It was just such a lovely surprise to get for Christmas. So thank you, Mum. And I had to put it to use as soon as I had a new project to cast on. It also has little pockets inside. Oh, and the lining inside, I was so excited about. It's all these little mittens. Isn't that just gorgeous? And it has 2 little pockets to keep your notions in. I just love it. I think this would definitely be big enough to put a sweater in. I don't know what size this is listed as on her website, but or in her shop, but this size, I could definitely fit a sweater in this at some point. I just haven't got one that I've cast on yet. So living in here is a new design. I know I'm breaking the rules and knitting on 2 designs at once, which I think I said on my previous podcast I wasn't going to do, but oh well. And the yarn I'm using, I was sent, I think I showed it last time, I've definitely shown it on a previous podcast. It is this gorgeous yarn I was sent by Tony of Kinsman Yarn Co. I'll just show you her tag first. Ooh, here we go. Kinsman Yarn Co. And it's on the Kinsman Merino fingering base in the Hepburn colourway. And this base is 100% superwash merino. I'll just show you the other side. You can see all of that. And it's a fingering weight yarn. So I'll just show you the 2 skeins. I've wound them both up. So I'm going to be doing a 1 colour shawl. Here they are. They're so gorgeous. I just love how subtle the speckles are. There, can you see? I absolutely adore it, and it's so soft and bouncy. I suppose because it's 100% merino, it's just so lovely, and I'm already loving working on it. I only cast this on last night because I've been planning and trying to figure out exactly how I want the shape of the shawl to be, and I wanted to have a really good idea of which design elements I wanted to include in the shawl before casting it on. But really, I just couldn't wait. And I figured out how to get the exact shape I wanted. So I've got, at the moment, a little baby shawl. So it's actually going to be an asymmetric shawl knit on the bias. So that's roughly the shawl shape that it's going to be. Roughly. So I've just started off with a garter section. And all I'm going to say for now is there are going to be elements of lace at some point in the design. That's all I'm going to say for now. But I just wanted to show what I've been doing. If I show you the other side, you can see the speckles in the yarn a little bit more. So also I'm doing an I-cord edging, just because I want really clean lines on this one. So yeah, it's really, really exciting, and can't wait to knit some more on that. I'm not sure whether I need to finish the hat design first, just so I don't make things too complicated in my brain, trying to design two things at once. But yeah, I'm so pleased with the yarn, how that's working up so far. And this little bag it's in. Oh, and that Progress Keeper, the little unicorn, was from Hannah of the Corner of Craft. Right, I'm just going to have a little break, and then I'll be moving on to all my acquisitions. You want to say hello, Jonah? Come on in. No, you don't want to. Come on. Hello. And you got your bow tie on. Look at you. How handsome. I know. Good boy. Yes. You didn't have a lie down. Or are you too excited? Ooh. What are you doing? You gonna find a toy? Where's your toy? Where's your toy? Don't know what he's gonna get. Hello, where's your toy? Where's your toy? Where's Mr. Rhino? Where's Mr. Rhino? Where is he? Oh, you got him! Well done! Good boy! Well done! You gonna bring him up here? Come show. Up, up, up. Oh. Oh, you've got glitter on your head. How has that happened? I know. Good boy. Yeah. A non-squeaky toy, hopefully. A quiet toy. Anyway, bit of a tangent there. I've got quite a few acquisitions to show you. Some of these I purchased before Christmas. Some I got for Christmas, and I think one of them I purchased after Christmas and it's already arrived. So I'll get started. If I do them in sort of chronological order, yeah. Okay, so when I went to Bath back at the end of November, I think I did show a couple of these in Vlogmas, but I'll just show them again because I know not everyone watches Vlogmas. And we went into Woolbath. That was the first shop we went into, and whilst I was looking for a forest green for Jimmy's hat, I came across this, which is called Wild Wool by Erica Knight, and it is 85% wool and 15% viscose, which is actually, in this case, nettles. So it's a blend of wool and natural nettle. It's got quite a nice halo to it. So I sort of brought back two different options so that Jimmy could choose which colour he liked the best. And this one, I think it is a worsted weight. It's very soft. It looks like a single ply. Yeah, very soft and squishy. It does feel very woolly and quite nice. So yeah, what colourway is that one? I think the colourway is Brisk. So yeah, that's one acquisition. Then I showed you the Walcott yarns that I'm using in a hat. I got that from a yarn story. And also whilst I was in a yarn story, I couldn't resist having a look at all of the hand-dyed by La Vianame and Primrose Yarn Co. And in particular, there were two skeins that stood out to me. I was having a look at their sport weight bases that they've now got stocked there. And I thought it would be really, really nice at some point to do a sport weight shawl in two colours. So the first one that I think I picked up was this skein of La Vianame. Sorry, Jonah's just having a massive drink. I'll just wait. Okay, so the other skein that I picked up was a skein of Primrose Yarn Co. And this is on the 3-ply sport weight base. And here we go. What's the colourway? The colourway, I think it's called Onesies 54. So I don't know if that's an actual colourway name or I think it is. It doesn't just mean one of a kind, I don't think. But yeah, I thought that this would just go really, really well with the other skein that I picked up. Still got elements of blues and purples in there. Oh, and this bit, love that bit. So yeah, the two of them together, both sport weight, I thought would make a really, really gorgeous shawl together. So yeah, hopefully some point next year. So then I got, as part of my advent calendar, excuse me, as part of my advent calendar, I got one big skein with dandelion and dogwood on day 24. So this is the skein. It's 100 grams, I think. Yeah, and it's called Christmas at the Dragonfly, which is of course a Gilmore Girls reference. The whole calendar was Gilmore Girls themed. So I love this. It's just so pretty. Everything that dandelion and dogwood do is just stunning. I think if you could just order any colouring, I just love everything that they do. They just managed to make everything look so magical. and delicate. It's beautiful. So I'm not sure what I'm going to use that for yet. It's going to probably be a pair of socks. Maybe in time for Christmas next year, considering it's a Christmas colourway. So there was that one. And then I may have picked up my first skein of Lay Family yarn. And I saw that they had updated their self-striping colourways. I think this was a week or two before Christmas. It was sometime in December anyway. And I've had my eye on this particular colourway, which is their Rose Garden self-striping, for quite a while. So I went ahead and ordered a skein of that. So I just love the colours in this. It's just gorgeous. I think that will make a really, really beautiful pair of spring socks. I just love it. And their label with the ferns is so pretty. Yeah, the base I think is an 80% superwash merino, 20% nylon, and it's really, really squishy. Sorry, I went a bit close there. Really, really squishy. I just love the combination of this sort of green, spring green, and the gorgeous sort of fuchsia purpley pinks. I can't wait to knit those up into a gorgeous pair of socks. Okay, so there's that. Then for Christmas, I may have directed Jimmy in the direction of Let Lopi yarns, because there's a particular pattern that I want to knit, which has got little foxes on it. Let me just get the name of the pattern. I think it's the Courstuffine by Isolde Teague. I've never knitted Isolde pattern, but that's the cardigan. So it's got little foxes around the yoke. So it's colour work, which I'm not that... I haven't done that much colour work, but it's not like an all-over colour work pattern. So I thought I might be okay dipping my toe in with just sort of like a yoked colour work. I think there's a bit of colour work around the bottom and around the sleeves as well. But yeah, I have plans to knit the Courstuffine, which I think is how you pronounce it. And I got a big bag of Let Lopi. So the main colour, I'm mostly doing the same colours as in the sample, but with one change. I've changed one of the colours. So my main colour is going to be this sort of light grey. I don't think any of the shades have names, it's all numbers. But the numbers are all listed on Ravelry on the pattern page. So that's my main colour. And I've got the same burnt orange for the foxes. And instead of, what did they pick? They've got a dark grey and then a black. I've still got the sort of, well, it's more of a charcoal. They've got a really dark grey and then another dark grey. I've kept the really, really dark one, and I switched out the other grey for this green. So it's 4 different colours that you need. I think I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 of this for the main, 1 of the burnt orange, 1 of the charcoal grey, and 2 of the green. It's like a foresty bottle green sort of thing. And I've never knit with Let Lopi before. That was something I've been wanting to try, so that's going to be part of my, if I do the Make 9 for 2019, it's going to be just like Emma from Eldon Woodcraft is doing, where you pick techniques or yarns or something new that you want to try. So one of mine will be knitting with Let Lopi. And I think it's probably going to be a steeked cardigan, which is going to be fun. I've done steeking once before, but it was on a child's cardigan. And it wasn't with yarn that was really meant to be used for colourwork and steeking. So I think, and it worked, it did work okay, but I think it could have been tidier. So hopefully this will be a successful colourwork steeking project. So yeah, I'm knitting with Let Loopy. Oh, I could have showed it you like that. That might have been easier. But yeah, it's going to be beautiful. I really want to have that done for autumn next year. So got plenty of time to do that. And got all the supplies now. So I'm really excited about that. And the other thing I got for Christmas was a new needle set. I got a set of Gu interchangeables. And I got the smaller needle sizes, so I got the size 2.75 millimeters through to 5 millimeter needles, because those are the sizes I use the most. And already I've taken 2 of them out to use in projects, so pretty exciting. I think I switched my Dust of Snow shawl onto them. My new shawl design using Kinsman Yarn Co. I'm also using the Gu needles. I really love the case that it comes with. You get 3 different size cords. Obviously 2 of them are missing because I'm using them now. And there's also, it also comes with space if you want to buy up the bigger sizes. So 5.5 mil through to 10 mil are on that side, which is nice that they give you the space to add to your collection. It's really nice. And then I think you get a little, in this little pocket in the front, you also get a little gauge ruler. And yeah, needle gauge. And you also get a little bag of stitch markers and some bits and pieces for sorting out your, tightening up your needles. And I think there are some things where you can secure your work if you need to take the needles off and just keep it on the cable. I don't know what the name for that is, but yes. So yeah, I'm really, really pleased with this so far. Before this, my main needles that I've used are higher sharps, but I do find that the sharp points aren't always suitable. Like some projects you do want a really, really flexible cable, like with the higher. Like for socks, I like to have the really flexible cable for doing magic loop. And sometimes I just fancy a sharp needle. These are still quite sharp, the Gus, but just not quite as pointy. Because I think some yarns I can get, you sort of get you end up splitting the yarn. That they can be a bit more easily split with the sharp needles. But I just really like the feel of the Gus as well. So I've not completely written off the higher. I still really, really love those. But I like now that I've got options for different sorts of projects and what the yarn and type of knitting requires. And it's good to have more than one of each size as well. So, because a lot of the time I like to knit shawls, and usually the needles I use for shawls are either a 3.75 mil or a 4 mil. So it's good to have a couple of different sizes of each, a couple of different needles of each size. Anyway, I must have been sat here too long now. Because I'm forgetting what words mean. I've got one more acquisition to show you, which is something I bought after Christmas when I saw that Travel Knitter was discontinuing one of her bases, I think, and had a sale on all of the yarn on that base. So, yes, she's discontinuing her pure merino sock base, which is 100% superwash merino. So I picked up 2 skeins of that in the Brambleberry colourway, which is just gorgeous. And I think I used a skein of this colourway, but on her Tanami base in my Blackberry Kisses shawl. And I just thought I thought 2 skeins would be a good amount to get, because then I can either do like a t-shirt, like the Tegna only uses 2 skeins. Oh, focus. The Tegna only uses 2 skeins. I thought a Tegna would look really gorgeous in this colour. Or I could do a 2-colour, not a 2-colour shawl, a 2-skein fingering weight shawl would also look really good in this. I just thought 2 skeins, I've got a lot of options because I do really love this base. I have also got, I think I've got a sweater's quantity of this base in the Jazz Age green colourway, and I also knit my Zweig out of this base in the navy blue. It was a one-of-a-kind colourway, but it was like a navy blue. So I really, really do love this for garments. So I thought maybe a Tegna, or maybe I could design my own t-shirt at some point. I don't know. I've got in my head a sweater design, which I want. One of my goals for 2019 is to create a sweater design, like my own design of a sweater. But it is quite scary, the idea of grading patterns. But I think the hardest part is probably doing it the first time and just getting your head around it. So, but it's something I really, really would like to do, because I do love knitting sweaters and garments. And I think it'd be really, really great to be able to design my own. So that's one goal for 2019 for me. Anyway, my battery is flashing at me now, so I'm going to have to quickly say goodbye. And today is New Year's Eve, so if I get this out today, hope you all have a lovely New Year's Eve, and wish you all the best for 2019. See you next year.